You don't need a label or a studio to fund your dream. You just need the right story and the right people. Because if you knew that there were people out there who are willing to spend on you, support you, so you can create the project, the experience that you want to put out into the world, and all it took was a single well-constructed video and a little bit of strategy, would you take the time to do it? Because that's what's possible with crowdfunding. And in this video, I'm going to cover 10 tips to create your next project, all funded by your fans and people who want to support your vision. All right, so before I get too deep into the strategic tips, I want to address the fact that you do have to have a video in the first place. This video acts as a trailer. It is telling a story and it has a primary goal, right? A call to action that you desire from people, which is for them to contribute towards your campaign, whatever that looks like. I'll provide in the description a link to good examples for crowdfunding. Whether you're doing it for a music project, a film project, the fundamentals are pretty much the same across the board, but it's great to look at examples from other types of crowdfunding activations to spark your curiosity a bit. So check those links in the description after you get through these tips. So tip number 1, reward your first supporters. Now, what does this mean? There could be some type of incentive that you offer for the first 50 people, for the first 100 people, because we know that scarcity works. Whether it's time-based scarcity, hey, there's only 3 days to contribute towards this campaign, or whether it's scarcity by quantity, like, hey, there's only 5 t-shirts available. Now, of course, you don't want a limited amount of people to donate, but the way you get around that to use scarcity while not limiting the number of contributions that you can get is saying, hey, there's scarcity in sense of the first 50 people will get a special t-shirt signed by me, or the first 100 people will get access to this private experience, a private screening. So now people are rushed to move early, or they feel extra incentive to go ahead and act now instead of procrastinating. But then that doesn't cut off other people from continuing to contribute as well. And a nice little psychological hack about that is once those 50 or 100 people are bought in and that's no longer available, it creates a sense of, hey, there is support here. There's a social proof there. And now I want to make sure that I support and don't miss out on any other type of benefits to be involved in this campaign. And overall, you'll find that it's a lot easier to get support when people already see other people supporting you as well. So those first few people are so valuable to your campaign, you might as well give them some type of extra incentive. Secondly, create different tiers of support. Think about when you see people do Patreons. That's an ongoing subscription, but the setup is usually if you pay $5 a month, you'll get this. If you pay $10 a month, you'll get this. If you pay $20 a month, you'll get that, right? There's those specific tiers. You want to do the exact same thing for your crowdfunding campaign because you want to encourage people to purchase, but you also want to incentivize them to purchase more. So you need to think through all of these levels. A $5 level of contribution is great because this allows people who don't have a lot of money to still show some level of support. And even though it might not be a lot of money, that level of support of their investment is also going to increase the chances that they'll tell other people about it as well, or just show numbers. So now that you can talk about how many different contributors you do have, there's a lot of value in having those people involved. But then when you get to a $20, $25 tier, of course, you're going to have to create more benefits, maybe personalized thank yous, and you might go up to $100, $150. You don't want to have too many tiers, but you do want to set at least a few, and it never hurts to have a pay what you want bonus as well. So if somebody wants to support you with more than the highest tier because they just love what you're doing that much, great, give them the option to. Which brings me to number 3. Always provide an alternative way for people to support you outside of finances. Because hey, maybe somebody doesn't have money right now, but you can mention to them that, hey, if you at least share this campaign, that would mean the world to me. That way they at least help get the message out. They can feel like they support it. And then hopefully they help you find somebody else who will contribute. And another thing you can do outside of just direct finances is creating a wish list. Now, this is something that the platform Seed and Spark, a crowdfunding platform for film and music, allows people to do. which is why it's our go-to recommendation in this category. It's built specifically for film and music. Of course, there's GoFundMe. Of course, there's Kickstarter and these other platforms. But Seed and Spark is not only specific to film and music creators, they're a lot more invested in the success of those people on the platform. I'll speak more on that later, but the wish list is something that they allow creators to include as a part of their campaign. Meaning, maybe you can't give me money, but I could really use a high quality camera so I can shoot the coolest music video possible, the coolest film possible. And if you have that, that would be great. So just let me borrow your camera instead of me having to purchase one. Or maybe you have mix engineering skills. There's so many other things that you're asking for your money just so you can go pay for these items. If you put some of these items on a list, people might just be able to give you those things outright, so you don't need as much money, and they can still provide support for your campaign. Number 4, of course you want to incentivize people to be a part of your campaign, right? You want to give them different things at different tiers, but be very aware that you're not providing things that are too expensive to the point that you're actually spending the money that you should be spending on creating your project on providing them an object in return. So I know this sounds extreme, but it would be wild for you to provide a free flight to LA to see the premiere of your short form film if they were only contributing $5, right? I think it's very extreme, but just paint that picture on every level. Be very cognizant of the cost of whatever incentive that you're promising and make sure it doesn't not make sense for whatever tier people are contributing. And as much as possible, you want to provide things that don't cost, whether they're digital, whether they're the end product itself, outtakes from the project, bonuses, maybe one-on-one time. Maybe there is some type of private event or in real life experience, but they have access to it. You're not paying for them to get there. Be aware of the costs, work the numbers. And number 5 is time. When you launch your campaign, you want to make sure that you do 30 to 45 days. Not too short, not too long. It could go a little bit longer than that, but every day longer than 45 days, you want to be cognizant that it's not overkill because we're playing two sides. We want to make sure that it's long enough for people to become aware of it, for people to decide to save their money, reallocate their money and spend that money on you, because everybody doesn't immediately have money available to support something that they didn't even know was coming. But then you also don't want to drag it out too long where it seems like it's going stale. People have been hearing this messaging over and over again, or maybe there's no sense of hype anymore and energy behind your campaign. And it might almost seem like this isn't successful. You've been trying to raise this $10,000 for 2 years. What are we doing here, right? Again, just a little bit of an extreme to paint a clear picture, but work backwards. And I think you get the idea. And number 6. This is one of the most important things. The packaging of your campaign should be attractive to not only the core fans that you already have, if you have a significant fan base, but you also want to make sure that it's attractive to new people as well. Because those core fans and those people that you initially let know about your campaign likely will tell other people about it, and those other people will check it out. And those other people also don't have the same level of relationship. So where your family members and longtime fans might have an emotional connection and look to support you almost regardless of how great your video is or how great the way you position your incentives look, to maximize the support you get. You want to make sure that people who are your target demographic, your type of people, will be able to see your campaign. They come across your fundraising page and they say, this is interesting. I would like to help make this happen, just because the project itself looks so compelling and the way you've positioned and packaged the project itself looks so compelling. And this is another thing that I love about Seed and Spark. So when I said they're more invested than other platforms in the actual success of the creators in their fundraising campaigns, I meant because an example of that is the fact that they actually review every single creator's campaign and they give you actual feedback free of cost, letting you know what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, what could improve, all with the purpose of helping you become successful. They want to see you win. And there's been legitimate cases where someone will go through that process and realize I'm not quite ready yet, but then they go figure it out, make those changes, You come back and you raise your money. That type of feedback is invaluable. So when we talk about the importance of packaging to scale and make the most money, Seed and Spark has obviously seen a bunch of these campaigns, but the owner of the platform has crowdfunded successfully and helped others do it time after time. Number 7, be intentional about the language that you are using. People are not donating to you. They are supporting you. They're joining a campaign. They're joining a movement. They're contributing. And if you didn't hear it the first time, they are not donating. They are receiving something in return. In this particular case, the language should be positioned as if they also want to see this project come to life. That's why it's important to have good packaging and actually have a project that they want to see. Make the story compelling, whether it's an album, whether it's tour that you want to go on for an experience, whether it's a feature film, whether it's a short film. You have an idea, make it look sexy, and give them the option to opt into the journey. They're not just giving you some money with nothing in return. They're receiving the manifestation of that vision and other cool incentives on top of that. Number 8, reduce the friction for supporters to receive the incentives that they are going to get as much as possible. People are lazy. You don't want people to have to work hard just to receive their reward. So if they perceive that it's going to actually be much sacrifice just to acquire the incentive, then it's going to work against you. For instance, have you ever heard of a mail-in rebate? That's one of those things where you could be buying a refrigerator in the store, and they say if you mail in this coupon, you can receive $100 back. That's a lot of friction. Just give me my $100 off right now and I'll buy it immediately. But for me to have to get the fridge, remember that I actually have to mail this thing, mail it, hope it gets there, because I don't know how this mail system stuff works. We email stuff these days, right? And then hope it gets filed correctly and then applied, and then I have to go and check to make sure I receive my $100 back. Yeah, that's a lot of work. I'd rather just buy it without considering the $100 off at all, because I'm not going to do that. But to be fair, the more massive the incentive, the more friction people are willing to work through. If you said that fridge was going to be free after I do my mail-in rebate, I'll take my chances. The same type of thinking applies to your incentives and how you deliver them to people. Digital is always going to be the easiest, by the way. Number 9, make your incentives as unique as possible. If you have unique incentives, not only do they attract people more, but it makes your entire campaign stand out in the first place. That will then become marketing for you, because you can now say people are going to get this thing for free. And now the fact that people could get that thing will become a part of the messaging. But that's up to you to determine, because what's unique for your fan base, what you can do and can't do based on what's on brand for you. Are you a scary movie? Are you a rom-com? Are you a rapper? Are you a conscious rapper? Are you a singer? Are you emo? All of those things determine what's unique to your audience and also what makes sense within the scope of your brand and what would work for you. And now we're finally at number 10. Market your progress throughout the entire campaign. Not only are you letting people know that you're raising money over and over again throughout your launch, you're also letting them know, hey, we raised some money. We raised some more money. We're closer to our goal. We raised $1,000. Now we only need $9,000 more. Now we only need $8,000 more. Or we raised $5,000. Now we only need $5,000 more dollars. Also, thank you for those people who already have contributed. This means the world to me. I really appreciate it. I can't believe that this is happening. And by the way, not only do I appreciate y'all, I appreciate the future supporters, because I know you who is seeing this post also wants to donate. You just haven't got around to it yet. That's your messaging throughout this entire process. You're going hard for this 30 to 45 days. Another reason you're not doing it too long is because you would get burnt out. You should be putting out more energy than you typically do when you're in marketing mode, when you're in launch mode. So yes, it is a lot of work. But with that said, I got one more bonus. Number 11, plan some surprises throughout your launch. Reveal new incentives, special incentives. So you might have a bunch of ideas and what could be incentives, and you could have huge lists, but don't use all of those things, because honestly, not only is it good to surprise people, to add a little spice and spark as a part of your campaign, you actually might need them. right? You might not be seeing enough activity, so you might have to throw in some new incentives. One, to give you an excuse to talk about your campaign again, but two, to really reinvigorate or drive people to take action. So those are 10 tips for creating a successful crowdfunding campaign, with the bonus number 11, create a really dope video, be very intentional about your messaging and the incentives you provide, and make sure the entire packaging of all of this is great. Show people what they're going to get. Don't just tell them, show them as much as possible. Show them the project that they're going to receive at the end of the rainbow. Show them the incentives with pictures. Sell the entire experience through and through. And if you're an artist or filmmaker, when you get around to doing a campaign, use Seed and Spark, not only because it's a great platform to do crowdfunding and it's specific to artists and filmmakers, but because they're going to give you feedback to help tweak your campaign. And that I don't do for free personally, but I can tell you, and the fact that they care that much is a big deal. It's truly invaluable. Check out Seed and Spark at seedandspark.com. And that's the and symbol, not A-N-D. We'll put it up on the screen so you can see it, and a link in the description. And other than that, see you next video with more tips and strategies for artists.